if you can locate your readings sheet, it might be helpful. Or you might just want to snooze, in which case that's absolutely fine. So, we've got some really weird stories this morning. Let's just be honest, they're quite weird, but they're good weird. I like them. So, we'll start with the Exodus. And then we'll get into the Luke Gospel. But this is always the story before Lent. And we have this extraordinary experience of Jesus' glory being revealed very briefly on a mountaintop. And I wonder whether we ask ourselves, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to see God's glory from time to time and to know that heaven is really near? Well, let's explore these passages a little bit. So if we look at the Exodus one, Moses, he's been talking with God and getting the commandments and stuff. From Mount Sinai. That's the scenario here. And so that's the mountain he's coming down from, the mountain where he met with God and where God gave Moses the tablets of the covenant. And so when Moses comes down the mountain, it says in the fourth line, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone because he'd been talking with God. Now, this isn't an amazing skin routine that Moses has got. His face is shining and his skin is shining, not because he uses oil of Olay, other products are available, but because he was speaking with God. So, I want you to kind of retain that image. Shiny Moses. Okay? Shiny Moses. He glows. He is worth it. Yeah, I don't really have that hair, do I? Now, Paul, then writing in Corinthians, picks up this story and this image of shiny Moses. Okay? So if you turn the page over, and so right at the top of the page, a veil over Moses' face to keep the people of Israel from gazing at the end of the glory that was being set aside. So the glory, faded. As Moses comes down the mountain, it faded. So he would put a veil on his face to stop them seeing the glory fading. Now, a few lines down, so it says, about halfway down that paragraph on the page, and all of us with unveiled faces, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. Now, that's quite a lot, so I'll just read that again, because that's not straightforward. And all of us, with unveiled faces, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. What's going on here? So, he's using that image of Moses speaking with God, who takes his veil off, takes his veil off to speak with God, and he then his appearance starts to change. And Paul is using that story and saying, it's the same for us. we too can be transformed, our whole being, by placing ourselves before God and allowing the Spirit to transform us. What then do we do with this? Well, it's Lent coming up. And Lent is traditionally a period of fasting, of prayer and of study. And one thing that we could do is just to allow ourselves a bit of time where we put ourselves, as it were, deliberately in front of God and put down all other things that we might be doing and allow ourselves to just bask in the presence and the love of God. So, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, to imagine sunbathing, right? Because it's only just not February now. But it's the same idea. We sunbathe, but not in the sun of February or into March. But we sunbathe in the light of the love of God. So I just want to encourage you to do something like this. There might be a way that you find better to do this, but simply we can find some time to do this and sit in the presence of God. So we're going to practice right now, if you like. So I just want you to just sit where you are, and you might want to close your eyes. You might not trust me, so you might want to keep your eyes open. It's entirely up to you. But I invite you to close your eyes. And just to imagine that you are in the presence of God. And can you imagine the glory of God shining in front of you? And as you breathe in, can you breathe in God's love and light and glory? And then as you breathe out, can you breathe out God's love and peace to the world? Breathing in God's love and light and glory. Breathing out God's love and light and peace to the world. We might be able to do something like this for maybe 5 minutes. And if we can do this every day, we give ourselves then an opportunity. We put ourselves in the place where God's love can touch us. Because so often we're so busy. We're running from this to that to the other. And there's so much to do. So much to think about, so much to worry about, that the love of God doesn't penetrate our hearts. So this Lent, maybe we allow ourselves 5 minutes a day, or 10 minutes a day, or longer, if you have the time and the discipline to do this, just to allow the love and the radiance of God's life and presence be with you. Why would we do this? I can't guarantee that you will see angels and the glory of the Lord shining around you and there'll be visions. I can't guarantee any of that. But what I can say is that it gives us a better chance of being able to perceive God's presence and love as then we continue the rest of our day. If we've stopped and we have allowed ourselves simply to be in the presence of God. And that will transform us, as it says in this Corinthians passage, from one degree of glory to another, as we allow God's glory to touch our most inmost being. It is the invitation of Lent. then to come into this space where we know the presence of God, and then we can face an uncertain world because we know we are held by that love and light and peace of God which we have tasted. So as we prepare for Lent, may God bless us, and may we know God's presence and love with us wherever we go. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.